All right, we're rolling.
America, welcome to Power to Thrive. I'm Dale Campbell. I'm here with Cliff Blodgett. And check this out, America. We are here with Teresa Zoe Blodgett. You understand me? So, with that being said, America, go to the subscribe button. Hit the share the care. Hit that button. And let's make it happen, America. Make America great again. Give us some subscribers. Let's go, Cliff.
All right. So you're going to start it off, Teresa.
Well, I was talking to Cliff and I was just thinking about with everything that's happening in the world, everything that, these countries are having discrepancies with each other. And then the United States is in everybody's business and kind of the bully. And thinking about that, I think we probably have a lot of enemies, people that would really like to do some harm to the United States. And so I was thinking, if someone wanted to start trouble with the United States, some kind of war problem, where would they attack? What's their target? And so I did some research. I was wondering, where you live now, do you know if you're a target for a military strike or some kind of biochemical strike or anything against the United States? So I did some research and they came up with 5 major target areas for the United States, and each of them have a different reason.
But before you get into that,
as to why they are targets.
Before you got into that, you told me that you found 2 different types of targets. One type of target is if they're trying to go and do financial damage to the United States. And the other type of target would be if they were trying to do infrastructure damage, like they wanted to inhibit the United States' ability to fight back. So those are 2 different types of attacks that could happen, a financial attack or an infrastructure attack. But keep going.
Okay. And so Cliff is absolutely right. Like I said, I did some research, and I don't know, I was kind of shocked, but not really shocked as to who they would target. If the United States was going to be targeted, what major metroplex do you think that they would go for?
I would say the first city, like the biggest one, New York, California.
Okay.
Chicago.
Okay. So.
Houston, of course.
Okay. So.
So you're saying in order of size, Dale?
That's what I'm just saying.
Right. It seems logical.
Okay. Well, that's actually pretty good, Dale, because New York is, in fact, one of the likely targets. And like, this is where Cliff comes in with his point. For what reason would they target New York? So I'm going to give you the 5 states, and that is New York City, Washington, D.C., San Diego, California, Norfolk, Virginia, and Houston, Texas. And each of these have a significant reason as to why they might be a target.
But the order of those 5 is for a financial attack.
Why is Norfolk? How much power does Norfolk have?
It's major military naval base. Mm-hmm. So it would, and it's also very close to Washington D.C. But it's major naval base with the Trident submarines.
Mm-hmm. That's a problem. See, so if they wanted to mess with our political and symbolic power, they would go after Washington D.C. because that's where all the political hub is. And like you said, New York City is the economic
hub.
And then Norfolk, Virginia, San Diego, California is military naval operations. They could do a lot of damage with that.
To the U.S. Navy.
And
Navy.
For cyber capabilities and technology, it would be Silicon Valley or San Francisco Bay Area.
Or Seattle.
And then for energy infrastructure, it would be Houston. Now, Houston seems to be coming in fifth place with that. But if you are thinking about the infrastructure, energy, that Houston has the capability to shut the United States down, because Well, you can explain that part.
Yeah, it hit on Houston. Basically, everything runs on oil and gas. The freeways, the transportation, trains burn diesel, boats burn diesel, and so if you knock out the fuel supply of the nation, or like 60-70% of the fuel supply, then the military, they'll grab the rest of the fuel supply for them, and effectively the entire civilian population will have no energy.
Yeah, it's like the energy juggler. You know, they're going
Right.
to hit us in the country in the jugular.
But also petrochemical, as far as chemicals like plastics and production of everything, it would shut down production. And the thing about a hit on the refineries is that they can't just start production somewhere else because of the equipment, the lead times on all the equipment. So you're talking about a 2 to 3 year shutdown at least.
Houston has about 45% of the refining capacity, you know, so it's critical, you know, for strategic oil reserves, pipelines, or export terminals. So that's bad. And then it would be a transportation collapse, you know, fuel shortages.
So I got a question. So if we was on an attack, what would be the first thing they do as far as taking Houston out? The refineries, right?
Okay, just let me say this. The odds are very low because they would be afraid, hopefully, of the retaliation, because Houston's military, United States military retaliation would be a death sentence to them. So that maybe that's one reason why they haven't done. There are two places that are capable of really hitting us if they wanted to, and that's Russia and China. But they would know exactly where it's coming from, probably intervene. But the retaliation is like shooting themselves in the head. So
But
that's a
that would
deterrent.
that would be a nuclear ballistic missile attack you're talking
Yeah.
about. But see, the thing is that you don't have to put a nuclear weapon on a ballistic missile. They can go and float one in on a barge. They can have a barge of dirt coming into the port of Houston and float it in without anybody knowing it. They do every single day. There's ore and coal and dirt and everything coming in on barges, and they could put a nuke in one of those and it would be almost indetectable.
So
Would
it's
not
no
be
stopping it.
no biological, chemical, a weapon might get snuck in, but I don't believe a nuke can be.
So you're saying
Houston
that
is
they,
very well protected
That's what
because
they say,
it is
but-
one of the major targets. So it is very well monitored, like, you know, by military,
okay, so how is that? Because
FBI.
they say that, but in actuality, do you see them, or do you actually think they're going through the dirt on every single barge that's heaped up with dirt?
Since it's a jugular of the United States in that area, I think they are. I think
They're not.
they are
They
very,
don't
very,
probe
very
every
careful.
single. There's
But
barges
anyway,
with rock and concrete, and they don't.
so this is where you guys see me and Cliff disagree. So
Yeah.
and that's all
They
the
don't
time.
probe every
And that's
single
good.
one.
But listen,
But
so America, are we safe?
yeah, I mean, it's a good question. The likelihood of it happening, and like I said, is very low, but it is plausible. It is possible, especially if we're the big bully, you know. And so
Now she has a point there.
know-
The further we go,
maybe so within the next 10 years, if the U.S. continues to do the things that it's doing. And it's really sad because there's a lot of innocent people, you know,
that would suffer.
and yeah, that would suffer. But what I was getting to is we don't want to act out of fear, but it's just good to know that I live near a major metro that may be a target if someone hits the United States. And so where you want to live is away from these type of things. If you are concerned,
You know, like if
You
you,
don't wanna-
have a job that puts you here and you can't get that type of job anywhere else, then you might rationalize it. Well, I know that there's a risk, but there's a good reason why I'm here because I've got this job. But if you're here for no reason whatsoever, then you might want to rethink that. It's just
So
food for
should
thought.
American people, should they be worried every day on not knowing if something's going to happen or not?
you know, I'm not here to try to, you know, just put fear in everybody, but I just want people to be aware of where they live. And like I said, it's probably not likely to happen, but it could happen. And so, you know just for your information, some of the safest places to live in the world would be a place like New Zealand. It's really optimal. Chile, Uruguay, and Canada. And that's because there's no military threat there. They don't have these, it's not a metro hub. Although, these places are very functional communities. They have everything that we have. But they don't have the threat to other countries. Hitting them wouldn't really accomplish anything,
They're not a target.
They're not. Those places and the areas around them, maybe some other ones, but those are the top places. I mean, Canada.
So our point,
not every place in Canada, like Victoria or Vancouver, although those are very beautiful places, they're too close to, what is that military base?
in the Pacific Northwest, there's a Bangor
Yeah.
Naval Trident submarine base that's a major target.
Yeah, but there are a lot of other places in Canada that would be completely safe. Now, not to scare anybody, I just I would just want to know. I would just want to know. And we don't know what's going to happen.
See, the thing about this is that you can go and use this information to cause yourself to have anxiety if you don't know what to do with the information, and then you just let it fester in your mind and then you obsess over it. The point of this is not to do that. We're not trying to give people anxiety. The point is for people to go and have useful information and to make intelligent decisions. Because if you use this information and you study these things and then you use it to make an intelligent decision, then you can go and decrease your anxiety. So it's like a knife. You could use a knife to inflict injury on yourself and cut yourself with it, or you can use a knife to fix dinner and cut your food, which is a good thing. So a knife could be used for either purpose, and this type of information can cause anxiety and work against you, or this information can be used to help you and decrease your anxiety. It just depends on what you use it for.
No one's going to tell you this, I mean, this is stuff that you would have to think about and go research on, on your own. But we're just saying, when they, in the whole 911 thing, the delivery, they couldn't get anything here, but they used airplanes. There was something that no one even thought about, and it happened. So it is plausible. So we're just saying that different times in history, these things have happened.
I got a question. So is there any particular way to prepare yourself in case something do happen?
Well, if you don't live around a major metro,
get out of here.
That'll be the first thing.
Yeah.
Because if it happens, Dale, when a couple of times when we just had hurricanes and stuff and people tried to leave, they didn't go anywhere. People couldn't even move for 16 hours.
People should know
my own
this.
sister only got what? In 16 hours, like 8 miles,
Yeah.
So if everybody's trying to get out at the same time, there's not enough exits to get out. So
during-
it's going to be gridlocked and you're going to be locked in here. So there should just be an exit plan if anything happens. And if news is going on and stuff is happening, we've gotten some threats maybe, start kind of preparing. What am I going to do with my family? Where are we going? What is
People forget this, but several times during these major hurricanes, and every time they say they're going to fix the problem, but it's lip service because they don't fix it. But several times during these hurricanes, they advise people not to evacuate the city, and good reason why. It's because the city cannot be evacuated. The roads are insufficient, and so on these hurricanes, everybody piled onto the roadways and sat there for 48, 72 hours, some of them, on the roadway. They ran their cars out of gas just sitting there because they were running their AC, trying to stay at least somewhat comfortable. And then they ran their cars out of gas, ran out of water, and they had to have the authorities handing out water so they didn't.
In Houston, we're not going to have electricity. We won't have power. I mean, gas. We won't be able to move. And as a matter of fact, because Houston's not moving, the U.S. will not move. So that causes a problem. So I would just say, like Cliff and I, we don't have, excuse me, all the answers, but it's just something like, what's our plan, Cliff? What's our exit plan?
Right.
So we just think about it.
It's the awareness. You
Yeah,
have to
there.
at
That's a
least
good
be
word,
aware.
Dale. Just the awareness.
Be aware on what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
Pay attention to like these channels like Power to Thrive. We're giving you good information.
Yeah.
Actual factual, as we call
want
it.
No,
you to
this is not
thrive.
limited
Yes.
to Houston.
No, it's
There's
not limited
no
to Houston.
major U.S. major metro, that can actually be evacuated. None of them. They're all in that same boat. Houston might be a worse offender in some ways, but none of them have the infrastructure to
I was just
actually
using Houston
evacuate.
as an example.
None of them can be evacuated. None of them. And so,
So, like for instance, if you know that there's a hurricane coming, or if there's some kind of tsunami or something coming your way, don't wait until the day it hits to plan on getting out of there. You know,
or a biological attack.
or about get out of there. I mean, if it sounds bad to you a year out, you think, boy, this is just not sounding good. I'm gonna get my time, get out. Well, then go ahead and find a
either
place to go.
bail first or don't bail.
Yeah,
But don't wait till
wait,
everybody in the whole population is trying to bail at the same time, because you will not be able to get out.
I think you should. Everybody, like we plan, like have bags and stuff with water and quick foods in them, so in case you can't get food or water for a while. Just kind of prepare yourself for
What is that
a
corridor?
disaster. That's what it's like. You're preparing for a disaster.
Yeah.
But Dale, like I'm thinking for our family, I almost want to have a family Zoom and say, hey, look, everybody, this is the deal. And we all need to figure out, what are we going to do as a family? Where are we going to, where are we going? Where can we get to safety? And how soon do we need to be getting to safety? And it could hit without us even knowing it, but most likely it would get a lot worse than this before something.
And in all
happen.
probability, it would probably be biological, because now anybody with $500,000 and access to artificial intelligence is going to have the capability to program a deadly pathogen and create a pandemic. Well, it's the truth.
Yeah, I know, but it's still
I know you don't like to hear
unlikely,
No,
No,
that's
it's not unlikely, but it's just like we said, we don't want to cause fear. We just want everybody, like Dale said, to be
I'm just being realistic.
aware that
but do you think
no one's hollering peace and security yet. It's still
my point
It's-
is that 20 years ago, Osama bin Laden put people on airplanes using box cutters because that's all they had. You think now in 2025 they'd be using box cutters when they have access to artificial intelligence?
Hey,
afraid.
I got a question here. So, at this point, how important are passports?
Oh, I think it's very important. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my daughters tonight about it, and I think, everybody should have a passport, because you can't get out of here and go anywhere else if you don't have a passport. So you need a passport.
Well, look at it this way. It's not hurting you to have a passport. Why on earth wouldn't you have one? I mean, there's no downside to having a passport.
But we didn't always have them. Well, maybe you did, but I
Right.
took it.
Okay,
It took me a
what's
long
the
time.
process? How long does it take? Cliff, right now, if you wanted a passport, how long would it take you
4
to
to 6
actually
weeks.
go get one?
8 weeks.
It varies from time to
And
time, but
physically-
usually it's like 4 to 6 weeks
Yeah,
or something.
usually 4 to 6
8 weeks
weeks.
maybe.
Look, go to your local post office.
Not that long.
Or go online, or your local post office, and they have passport information and applications. Fill it out. They'll make an appointment, and usually right at the post office, they'll actually, they'll interview you and get everything filled out. You pay for it, and they send off for your passport. It has to go through national security, and then that's why it takes so long. And you get your passport, and then you're good to go. But I think we all should have passports. Yeah.
But the question is,
Dale, may I
everybody
say something about
afford a
people
passport?
that have a passport? If you have a passport and it expires, let's say my passport expires in October of a certain, let's say of 29. So in March of 29, they will not let me travel out of the country with the passport only lasting for 6 more months. So they suggest before your passport expires, 6 months before it expires, you need to go ahead and get an updated passport.
How affordable is a passport?
It's not that bad.
No, what, a couple $100 or something?
Yeah, like going out to party on the weekend, or go eating out 2-3 times a
okay.
month or
Okay,
something.
well,
So you could probably have your
right.
passport. Yeah. So it's not. Yeah, but it's just something that I think is just good to have.
it's
You never
less
know when you're going to need to move. You know,
I think it's less than that.
it could be less than that.
145. It depends on your situation. I think it varies in the speed at which you want it back. I think you could pay a little bit more and get it back faster.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't think it's over. I think it's under $200.
Now, with your real
Well, that's not
ID, now they call it real ID on your driver's license. You can do some traveling. What is it? Boats,
No,
ships.
Canada, I think.
And you can go on a cruise or something like that with that
I don't know. They should
with
check.
that license. But you could check. It does more than your old license used to do. And then, but your passport book or a passport card, you can, well, your passport card is good for ID.
Did you know?
But the passport book will get you anywhere you want to go.
Did you know that they're trying to expand out Real ID so they could use your Real ID interconnected to your bank account? So if you're doing things they don't like, then they can shut off your bank account.
Well, none of that's is surprising. And none of that is surprising to me. But Dale, yeah.
Well, hey, we run out of time, America.
Yeah. So if you
Any
guys have
closing
any
thoughts,
questions,
Cliff and Teresa?
yeah, I just want to say to people, again, we're not trying to put fear. We're just trying to make you aware, as if like we are. I mean, this kind of stuff, makes me concerned. But I'm not stopping my everyday living, because of it. But because there's no way I can stop it. I can just try to prepare for anything. But I just wanted to say, if you guys have any questions, just well, how they do it?
Put it in the comments.
Cliff,
Put it in the
explain to
comments.
them, how do they subscribe and how do they share? Because I don't think they really got the right understanding.
Mash the subscribe button
What is that?
in the channel. There's a thing that says subscribe, and you say
Is
You
it
mash it and
is
then-
a bell? What is it?
it says subscribe.
Is it a star?
No, it
Share.
says no. It
What?
says no. It says subscribe, and you just click on it. It's that simple.
Okay. You guys subscribe.
Well,
Dale, I'm pretty much done for the night.
Cliff, you done?
I'm done.
Yep.
America, we had a great episode. Y'all have a good night. We see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.